Avenue Jocelyn in suburban Adelaide is very different to its New York namesake. This isn't hustle and bustle. It's quiet, comfortable suburbia. And that's why the latest development in this street is raising a lot of questions. A 5,600 square metre Chinese consulate built without all the council approvals and a long way from Canberra. Amongst the shadows of night, beyond 3-metre-high bars, one property on 5th Avenue looms beneath floodlights. The compound is hard to make out for any locals peeping from their bedroom window, and while daylight reveals Australia's newest Chinese consulate, it doesn't clear up what it's doing in Adelaide. The Chinese government already has an embassy in Canberra and consulates in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth. Prior to China's Adelaide opening, only 2 nations had a full-time presence in South Australia: Greece with 2 permanent staff and Italy with 1. The Chinese have deployed at least 10 full-time diplomats to the City of Churches. So why build a Chinese consulate in suburban Adelaide? Well, maybe the answer lies behind this fence. 30 minutes drive from Jocelyn, we're currently at the Osborne Naval Shipyards, Australia's premier shipbuilding facility and one of the most technologically advanced in the world. Osborne is home to 2 of Australia's biggest ever defence projects. Currently, 9 anti-submarine Hunter-class frigates are under construction. Then in 2023, 12 attack-class submarines will begin with a $50 billion price tag. And while our leaders won't ever say, it's worth considering which government are we protecting ourselves from? Which foreign power poses a clear and present threat of naval attack to Australia?
It concerns me greatly that the consulate started up in 2016 at the same time that Australia was announcing that the hub for our naval shipbuilding program, a $145 billion national security program, was going to be Adelaide.
Independent Senator Rex Patrick represents South Australia in the federal parliament. He's also a former submariner with the Australian Navy.
I've called on the consulate here to be shut down. I don't think we need to have a consulate here.
Are there too many Chinese diplomatic staff in Australia as it is?
Right across Australia, the Chinese consulates have about 150 consular officials. The nearest to them is the United States at around about 110. What we need to do right across Australia is scale back, not just here in Adelaide, the entire Chinese consular presence. I think we could cut that by 2/3.
With its different political system, questioning the Chinese government was going to be difficult. But on one of our final visits to the consulate, something unexpected happened. A diplomat came outside to speak with us. So what sort of things get done behind these 3-metre walls?
Just to protect our security.
The man identified himself as Consul Li Zhang. What sort of business gets done? Visas,
yes, visas and protection of the overseas Chinese, and we promote the cooperation and bilateral exchange. Yeah.
Do you think there's been enough cooperation lately with China putting tariffs on Australian products?
Yeah, sorry?
Do you think there's been cooperation lately with China putting tariffs on Australian products like barley and wine?
I have no more comments on this now.
And as Mr. Zhang headed for safety, we took our chance and raised the sensitive issue of national security.
Thank you.
Is this property here to keep an eye on Australian defence projects?
Yeah, sorry.
Is this why you're here? Is this location chosen because of its vicinity to Australian defence projects?
I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang.
Thank you.
Well, we later put some of the residents' concerns to the Chinese consulate, but we never heard back.
She'll be right. Just remember that you're an Aussie and you'll never give up the fight. When your back's to the wall, just give your all each morning.